Many people credit Pluckley in Kent as the most haunted village in the UK. I personally think, growing up in the historic village of Rittle in Chelmsford, Essex, that it could be a serious contender for that title. Therefore, I decided to put together a little bit of footage from previous films, which were just test films due to the current inability to get footage, and tell some of the stories of the hauntings in Rittle that I know of, and why I believe it could be a contender for the most haunted village in England or Britain. So here goes. The place I'm going to start with, Highlands Park. Probably the most haunted place in Rittle. But I'm not going to talk much about it in this video because I'm going to do a separate video specifically about Highlands Park. Suffice to say, Highlands Park has 4 or 5 ghosts. Highlands Park certainly justifies its own video because it's a very interesting place, and some of the stories are very interesting, and some I have personal experience with, and I personally experienced myself. The next place I would like to mention, a certain house in Rectory Road in Rittle, where I grew up, was a very haunted house. I'm not going to mention the number of the house, which house it was, because it's not fair on people that maybe live there now. But anyway, again, this really justifies its own video, so I'm not going to go into the hauntings in this video, but there was 4 hauntings that were known of, 4 different spirits that visited that place, and these are all personal experiences to either me or my family, so they're certainly 100% verified, which is why it's a very interesting place and why it warrants its own video. The next place I would like to mention, Meads house. This is a very nice old house, and also very well known to be haunted. A lot of people around Rittle that grew up around Rittle will probably have heard the rumours of this place. I'm not going to talk much about it here because I have got a separate video again which I want to do about that. I was lucky enough to randomly stop by one day and speak to someone, and I got a little bit of a viewing, a personal viewing, just a short quick viewing inside. It's now being built into, it's separated into flats, so I was probably very lucky to get that last viewing before it changed. So that video just needs putting out there, and that will be coming soon. The next place I would like to mention, there's a certain house around Hunt's Drive where in the 80s the son, who was in his 30s I believe, went a little bit mentally wrong and ended up killing both his parents, chopping them up, and then walking across the fields to the local reservoir, which is in Highlands Park, which I will mention in that video, and he drowned himself. I knew someone that lived in the house after, and apparently the house was haunted. Rumour has it the mother's head was supposed to have been found down the toilet. That's how badly chopped up they were. And the story that I remember being told when I was younger was that the current owner, after the murders, had been pushed down the stairs. This is a story that I was told from a friend of someone who lived there. So not necessarily verified, but the murders certainly 100% took place. I remember that as a child. The house was actually within visible distance of my haunted house in Rectory Road, where I grew up. The next place, the Cock and Bow pub. It's now become a restaurant, but it was previously, for a long time, a pub called the Cock and Bow. Rumour has it that a maid hung herself in the kitchen. It was believed to be a love triangle gone wrong, where the maid was having relations with the then landlord, and the landlady found out, and consequently the maid hung herself. The next place, this has been recorded very recently. It's in local papers, and it is the Poltergeist which harassed a lady living in the bungalows near the Checkers pub. This is a very well recorded event, if you believe the lady. The next place, the haunting in Rittle Junior School. Maybe this was just us as kids exaggerating and imagination running wild, but I certainly remember, and other kids growing up, certainly around my year, will remember this story, and maybe other kids, if there's any truth to it, other kids from other years maybe will know about it. And that is Rittle Junior School. In one of the toilets, it was rumoured that a child hung themselves accidentally on the towel rails that you used to get. So that's number 14, Rittle Junior School. Number 15, Mill House. Again, this is very much just a rumour that was going around, and that maybe several people know, probably quite a lot of people knew about and heard. Apparently there was a robbery there. The people tied an old lady up that lived there, and there was a rumour that she was rich and that she hid her money in the house. And this rumour goes on to say that a couple of robbers tried to find this treasure. They invaded the house, they tied her up at the top of the stairs, and she fell down the stairs and died. I believe there's another rumour that she suffocated. So whichever is the truth, if there is any truth, I've never looked into it, I've never researched whether there was any robberies or deaths in that house, but it would be worth maybe looking into one day. But anyway, that is number 15, Mill House. After number 12, we don't really need to be getting into well-established stories, because as soon as we reach number 12, then we are level with the number of hauntings that Pluckley claims, which is why I believe that Rittle could be a good contender for the most haunted village in the UK, because there are certainly 12 well-established, well-known hauntings that I can personally verify through growing up, that other people will also know, local people, and some of them even that I have personal experience with. Number 16 is the White Hotel near the Duck Pond. I don't have any first-hand, second-hand accounts. All I remember was that there was apparently a poltergeist haunting this place. That's literally all I can remember. Don't even remember where I heard it from. Don't know how well established the story was. But number 16, the White Hotel near the duck pond. If the rumours are true that the duck pond was a ducking pond for witches, then maybe that has something to do with the haunting of the White Hotel. But certainly if it was a ducking pond, then there's a good chance that the pond itself once had or has spirits attached to it. Number 17, the top green. Again, this is just vague rumour that I remember growing up, was that someone hung themselves at the top green, and occasionally the spirit was seen hanging in the tree. It's just rumour that went around, and there are no first-hand, second-hand accounts. I don't know anyone personally that's seen it. It's just one of those stories that goes around and that you hear when you grow up in a certain place. Rumours, whatever truth there is, I don't know. I also vaguely remember stories of one of the pubs, either the Checkers pub or the Victoria, can't remember which, possibly even both, but there was certainly rumours that in the back of my mind make me believe that one or both of those pubs were reputed to be haunted.